King Solomon loved many foreign women, not only Pharaoh's daughter, but Moabites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, from those peoples of whom Yahweh had said to the Israelites, "You are not to go among them, nor they among you, or they will be sure to sway your hearts to their own gods." But Solomon was deeply attached to them. He had 700 wives of royal rank and 300 concubines. When Solomon grew old, his wives swayed his heart to other gods, and his heart was not wholly with Yahweh his God as his father David's had been. Solomon became a follower of Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and of Melkam, the Emite abomination. He did what was displeasing to Yahweh, and was not a wholehearted follower of Yahweh, as his father David had been. Then it was that Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, on the mountain to the east of Jerusalem, and to Malcolm, the abomination of the Ammonites. He did the same for all his foreign wives, who offered incense and sacrifice to their gods. Yahweh was angry with Solomon because his heart had turned away from Yahweh, God of Israel, who had twice appeared to him and had forbidden him to follow other gods. But he did not carry out Yahweh's order. Yahweh therefore said to Solomon, "Since you have behaved like this, and have not kept my covenant or the laws which I laid down for you, I shall tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your servants. For your father David's sake, however, I shall not do this during your lifetime, but shall tear it out of your son's hands. Even so, I shall not tear the whole kingdom from him, for the sake of my servant David. For the sake of Jerusalem, which I have chosen, I shall leave your son one tribe." Yahweh raised an enemy against Solomon, Hadad the Edomite, of the kingly stock of Edom. After David had crushed Edom, Joab, the army commander, had gone to bury the dead and had slaughtered the entire male population of Edom. Joab stayed there with all Israel for 6 months until he had exterminated the entire male population of Edom. But Hadad, with a number of Edomites in his father's service, had fled to Egypt. Hadad had been only a boy at the time. They set out for Midian, and on reaching Paran, took a number of men from Paran with them and went on to Egypt, to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, who provided him with a house, undertook to maintain him, and assigned him an estate. Hadad became a great favorite of Pharaoh, who gave him his own wife's sister in marriage, the sister of the great lady Tephanes. The sister of Tephanes bore him his son, Jinhabath, whom Tephanes brought up in Pharaoh's palace. Genubath living in Pharaoh's palace with Pharaoh's own children. But when news reached Hadad in Egypt that David had fallen asleep with his ancestors, and that Joab the army commander was dead, he said to Pharaoh, "Give me leave to go, that I may return to my own country." "What do you lack here with me?" Pharaoh said, "for you want to go back to your country." "Nothing," he replied, "but please let me go." Hence the harm which Hadad caused. He loathed Israel and ruled Edom. God raised a second enemy against Solomon, Rezin, son of Alad. He had fled from his master, Hadizar, king of Zoab. A number of men having rallied to him, he became leader of a marauding band, which was then massacred by David. Rezin captured Damascus and settled there, and became king of Damascus. He was hostile to Israel as long as Solomon lived. Jeroboam was the son of Nebat, an Ephraimite from Zeradah. The name of his mother, a widow, was Zerah. He was in Solomon's service, but revolted against the king. This is the account of his revolt. Solomon was building a Milo and closing the breach in the city of David his father. Now this Jeroboam was a man of great energy. Solomon, noticing how the young man set about his work, put him in charge of all the forced labor of the house of Joseph. One day, when Jeroboam had gone out of Jerusalem, the prophet Halijah of Shiloh accosted him on the road. Halijah was wearing a new cloak. The two of them were in the open country by themselves. Jahijah took the new cloak which he was wearing and tore it into 12 strips, saying to Jeroboam, "Take 10 strips for yourself, for Yahweh, God of Israel, says this: I am going to tear the kingdom from Solomon's hand and give 10 tribes to you. He will keep one tribe for the sake of my servant David, and for the sake of Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. For he has forsaken me to worship Astarte, the goddess of the Sidonians, Shamash, the god of Moab, Malcolm, the god of the Ammonites. He has not followed my ways by doing what I regard as right, or by keeping my laws and ordinances as his father David did. But it's not from his bands that I will take the kingdom, since I have made him a prince for as long as he lives, for the sake of my servant David, who kept my commandments and laws. I shall, however, take the kingdom from the hand of his son, and I shall give it to you, that is, the 10 tribes. I shall give one tribe to his son, so that my servant David may always have a lamp in my presence in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen as a dwelling place for my name. You, nonetheless, I shall appoint to rule over as much as you wish. You will be king of Israel. If you listen to all my orders and follow my ways by doing what I regard as right, and by keeping my laws and commandments as my servant David did, then I shall be with you and shall build you as enduring a dynasty as the one which I built for David. I shall give Israel to you, and I shall humble the descendants of David, but not forever." Solomon tried to kill Jeroboam, but he made off and fled to Egypt, to Shishak, king of Egypt, and he remained in Egypt until Solomon's death. The rest of the history of Solomon, his entire career, his wisdom, is this not recorded in the book of the Annals of Solomon? Solomon's reign in Jerusalem over all Israel lasted 40 years. When Solomon fell asleep with his ancestors, he was buried in the city of David his father, and his son Rehoboam succeeded him.